let me boot up Chrome because I realized that I'm using Edge. Always on Edge. And then we can start.
Always on the edge. I mean, that's
Always
true
on
to
Edge.
life. This is V's biography. Always on edge.
Always on Edge. I'm called out.
That's
Actually,
your stand-up special, dude.
actually called out. That's crazy. I
The
was just
fun.
like, I was just hanging out like when my boyfriend was like driving me to the airport when I went to like Fan Expo Boston. I was like, I'm doing so many things. I'm so tired of doing so many things. And I was like, I think I can't wait to not be doing so many things. And then he looked at me and he was like,
When
no.
is that?
Yeah, he was like, no, that's not true. You're always doing so many things because you love it. And I was like, damn, I'm so confident.
Damn, called out. No, that's
He's
true.
like,
That's some real shit.
yeah, he was like, I've known you for like almost 10 years. And I was like, oh, you've known me too long. It's time, you know, all my secrets.
No, that's some real shit. I also think that I know that we haven't done our little intro yet, but I
Yeah.
I are but this is all, probably this is even staying in. I think that the interesting thing about this episode is I feel like when just the two of us are talking, you talk differently than when you're interviewing a guest. And I
That's
think that you
true.
get more silly with me. And then you go into kind of respectful interviewer mode when we're doing the guests. So this is our audience chance to see another side of you and the same side of me.
Oh, that's actually so sweet. Everybody, welcome to Creative Block Cafe. We're your host, V.
And Sean, aka Lord Spew.
As Sean was kind of mentioning, we like to hang out outside of Creative Block. Can you believe it? We, we,
We're not sick of each other. Are you kidding me? If I was V, I would be sick of me, but apparently it hasn't worked yet.
it hasn't worked yet. We're very similar. I don't know if you guys kind of see it by listening to the interviews, but we love to like talk about all of the million projects that we are working on. We like to talk about the state of animation and also just, yeah, hang out. So I don't know. We thought maybe we would try doing these little like solo episodes where Sean and I just kind of like catch up and as a fun kind of way to invite you guys to sit at the cafe table with
Yeah, and
us.
on top of that, I think that I want to use this as an opportunity to talk about things in the animation industry that we're excited about and outside of
Mhm.
the industry. If we've seen some shorts that we liked recently that we want to recommend to you, and also invite you, the listener, to update us in between episodes of this with things that you think that we should be talking about or should be aware of, because not everybody has the patience, ability, or reach to monitor everything that's happening in the industry, especially leaning towards the positive sides of it, which I think is probably what we're going to be trying to do. Um,
It's
so, yeah,
Yeah, it's true. I feel like sometimes it can be kind of like hard to stay excited about like making art, doing animation and all that. I'm sure if you're a creative and you're like listening to this, you're probably feeling it like, oh no, AI sucks and like are we even like useful as humans making art? But I think something where like I mean, Sean, you can like talk about this, but like I feel like something that we kind of really connect on, Sean and I, and the reason why we like hanging out is that like we love creating stuff, and
yeah.
no matter what happens with AI, no matter what happens with the world, we always want to be making stuff and
Yeah, and you can be a useless human making art and be happy.
yes,
Is my point. I don't know if
I
I'm useful making art. Yeah, all the arguments about AI is true. It is better than me, but I'm happy. I'm drawing my stupid stuff. I'm drawing bad on purpose, and just let it try to imitate that. And we talked about not even mentioning AI this episode, and just at the very beginning, we're like, in the
yeah.
context of how depressed we all are about having to compete with robots in for our jobs.
Yeah, it's But I think it's important to kind of bring it up because sometimes I'm like, I don't want people to feel like we're like, what's the word? Shying away from the hard like topics because it's
Yeah.
what's happening and we're aware of it.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you listen to all of our episodes, we've touched on that subject quite a bit, so it's not
Hmm.
like it's
Yeah.
completely out of it.
What's your favorite AI slur? People are trying to come up with the first AI slurs right now.
Well, there's a real slur that actually does exist, and it's called clankers. It's calling AI or robots
Well, okay.
clankers.
You say real slur, but I mean, we're making it. We're making up stuff.
Mm, mhm.
I mean,
Okay, well,
they
okay.
people are making up stuff is what I mean. Like it's only a slur. I mean, is it a slur if the robots aren't offended by it and they don't know about it? I don't know. That's a discussion for
That's
another time.
yeah.
Not on the subject of robot slurs. On the flip side, I heard that people that are in relationships with AIs, they call them, oh, that's my husband is wireborn,
Oh,
which sounds so
interesting.
sci-fi. It sounds so sci-fi or like Game of Thronesy or something. He's wireborn.
While you're born, that's so interesting. I was actually just talking to Justin, my boyfriend, about this because I was telling him we were like listening to the ChatGPT 5 release.
Hmm.
And not gonna lie, it gave me a little bit of anxiety, but you have to stay informed. And I was like for me, something I don't know how many people listening to this feel this way or if you feel that way, Sean, but when I was like 14, 15, I remember clearly because it was a part of my life when I was just really lonely because I had just like moved from France to the US for the first time and I
Hmm.
didn't speak English, so I couldn't make friends in the US for 6 months to a year because I didn't speak English well enough. And all of my French friends, it was the early internet, so they weren't like well versed in the internet, so we couldn't keep touch to the internet. And phones were it just cost a lot of money to call
Yeah.
through landlines and stuff. So I remember that time of my life when I was really lonely and thinking to myself like, oh, I really want to learn to code or go into robotics or whatever because then I could make myself an AI friend and like
No,
yeah.
no, me, no,
I thought
dude.
that.
That's so sad sounding. Me,
I mean, it sounds sad, but like
no,
what I'm trying to say is like I was there and now I'm not anymore. Like I have friends, I have a boyfriend
yeah,
who's real, but you know what I mean? It's like I understand where these people are like psychologically because I was there, and I feel like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
sometimes people can be really harsh, like judging others, being like, "Why would you
I was,
date a robot?"
oh, I'm
And
trying to think if there's any American memes that used any French that you would have been able to bond with us. I know people used to say "les sai," but
yeah, but that kind of bothered me because I was like, this is so low hanging fruit. I was like, wow. The only French word is literally the. Like, the. Like,
dude, that's sick.
and also at the time, people were like, they would always ask me, hey, can you translate voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir? And I was like, well, yeah, I mean, so you want to sleep with me tonight? And then they were like, whoa, what? Yeah.
Omelette du fromage. Yeah, like
Yeah.
just quoting Dexter at you or whatever.
Yeah, no, really, those were the two things. Yeah, yeah, always. Now I'm
That's so
now I
funny.
yeah, now I got used to it. I'm like, okay, I know what to expect. But at the time
Yeah,
I was so annoyed. I was like, "Ooh, is that all you know?"
now English
Um
has ruined you.
maybe. No, I think English has made me funnier, honestly. I think moving to America has made me funnier overall because I feel like in France we can be too self-serious sometimes. I feel like you were always funny though, Sean. Hey, actually, I
I
kind of
was
want
not
to.
always funny.
Oh, really?
There, yeah, and if you want, we can talk about it. But I had basically a training montage moment in my life that was deliberate.
Oh, wait. I feel like I have like an inkling, like a wisp of a memory of you talking about this, but I want to hear it again.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So when I was a little kid, I didn't have that many friends. I didn't hang out with people outside of school. I played pretend a lot. I
Mhm.
drew like stories all the time and played with sticks instead of guns because my parents didn't buy me toy guns. um
Mhm.
but basically when I ended up going to school, I was this little kid that wore Hawaiian shirts every day, and my only way of getting like attention was being annoying, and
Mm.
that was my way of like trying to get people to pay attention to me. And this is an awful thing that I learned, where I would like, like I would just like pinch people, or I would like be loud
Mm.
or whatever. And at a certain point, I ended up meeting this friend who later became one of my best friends. He was like, okay, listen, I got to take you under my wing because you suck. And he used to like send me on missions in the cafeteria. Like he would tell me what to do. He would say, okay, listen, go up to that girl over there and give her your chocolate milk. Say you got an extra one. Does she want it? And then like say something and then leave. You don't have to stay. Just
Mm.
like be nice, say what up, and then leave. That's
Wow.
it. And so he started sending me on these missions and cue like 80s training music montage. And through a few years, like he helped to train me to like curse. Like I didn't curse until like maybe eighth grade. And I remember I used to say curse words really unnaturally. There was one
What
time
do you mean?
where we were walking home from school, and one of my friends was like telling the story about I don't know, he stepped in a dog turd or something like that, and I was like, oh man, you stepped in shit. Like I looked both ways, and then I s- and then whispered shit, or I would say like, that's fucking pissing me off. Like I would say it too loud or unnaturally. And so like there's these people that kind of coached me into being like a regular guy. And I think that where I took it and ran with it is I had developed this very creative kind of story world building way
Mm-hmm.
of being. I just didn't know how to interact with other people very well. And so
Mm.
I did have this like kind of training thing where over years I hung out, there was a little while where I hung out with um mean kids, but they were mean kids by being funny. And I
Mm-hmm.
learned how to make fun of people from them, and mostly from them making fun of me, but like studying that. And then eventually I was like, well, that is now I'm just making mean jokes, and I'm making
Mm-hmm.
people mad, and that sucks. So I had to kind of like redirect and figure out how to be funny without that. But I was not funny my whole life, and I like to tell that story as a way to for the viewers too. If you don't feel funny, you can work at it. You can get more fun. You just have to really work on it and study it, and you know.
I think that's true. I feel like I feel like being funny is something that you might, as a, I don't know, society or whatever, we're like, no, you're just born with it or whatever. It's like a natural talent. But I think I agree. I think you can work at it, because I also feel like I used to be like so serious all the time. And I'm pretty serious still, but I'm able to like make jokes in my comics now at least.
Hey, well, you know what?
Yeah.
Speaking of comics, I want an update for how it feels to finally be done Rodney. I don't know how much we've talked about it on the podcast, but not only did you finish Rodney, but
Hmm.
also you're in the middle of brainstorming your next thing while you're engaging in trying to get this comic made.
You know what's really funny that about you bringing this up is that every time I table, so recently I was at Fan Expo Boston, but I table pretty often. I've tabled at Lightbox. Every year I'm at WonderCon. So if you're like listening to this and you ever want to like meet, I'm every year I'm at WonderCon Anaheim. And when the book of Rodney comes out, I want to go on a little book tour. So I'm going to try to do a couple different conventions around the states to meet the fans that are like local and who can't always afford to go all the way to California. But what's funny is every time I table, people come up to me and they're like, wait, you draw this comic? Wait, I listened to this podcast. Do you do both? And I'm like, yeah, I'm the same person. It's the same guy.
What? Wait,
It's
what are
me.
the odds that? What
Yeah.
are the odds that they had heard of those two things separately?
I know it's very
That's
funny.
crazy.
It's very funny, and every time they kind of like do a little bit of that double take. And I mean, there are obviously some fans that are familiar with both, but I'm surprised at the amount of people who just weren't aware prior. So for anybody listening to Creative Block who's not aware of my webcomic, Rodney, it's a I call it a suburban whodunit in which there's a serial killer and the
Yeah.
most probable suspect
Yeah.
is maybe not who he seems to be. So you have a
It's,
that's kind of like the way I pitch it now. And
yeah.
actually something that's kind of cool is that now that it's done, so finishing it, first of all, I was so happy. I was so happy because you have scenes in your head that you have to wait before you can draw them, and it's really hard to not tell everybody around you these are my characters and this is my webcomic and this is what's gonna happen because you don't want to spoil everybody. And also a lot of people will be very nice and patiently listen to you, but they you can see their eyes like glazing over as you're talking and talking about your webcomic after a while. So you gotta gauge. You gotta be like, all right, I think I went over.
No, no. I'm info dumping on these people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but finishing was so great because two things happen when you finish a comic is like first there's the release, finally it's over, you're like okay, it's not hanging over my head anymore, and all the fans who were tagging along, they're like wow, this was great, I'm so glad I got to see it finished, because a lot of people when they watch something or online they're prepared for the comic or the story to never end, because there's a lot of people who publish who never finish their projects.
Yeah.
So there's like a lot of relief there as well. But then there's also the fact that now it's very alluring for people to know that this is a story that's done. People
Yeah.
who at the fan expo, I would tell people, "Hey, this is my webcomic. You can check it for free. You can read it all. And it, by the way, it's done. So if you want to read it all tonight, you can, and then you can come and get a book signed tomorrow if you liked it." And and it's crazy because there's a lot of people more than I thought who actually took the time to read it when they're like waiting for a panel. They read the whole thing and then they come back and they're like, "Wow, I love this. It was great." And then they buy all the books, and it's like kind of crazy actually to see it happen in real life. So I 100% recommend doing a story, finishing it, and it's a big selling point for people.
Um, I feel like recently you told me about the last time that you tabled. It made you realize that when we do an episode to oh no, it wasn't when you tabled. Someone that we had on the podcast, Short Fest,
Mhm.
Lee. They did Short Fest, and they told us that somebody that listened to our podcast came to Short Fest and was like, "That's how I found out about you." And it's one of those moments where you're like, "Whoa, we actually." There's people that in the world that actually listen to us and like it worked. Like we advertised a thing successfully and someone went.
It's so true because I feel like that's something that I tell you, Sean, a lot. Is like sometimes we forget people listen to this. I feel like, you
Yeah, we just
know,
put it out, and we have these little conversations, and I'm having them selfishly. I just like to talk to these people, and I get to talk to them, and I forget that you guys are even listening. I'm like, this is just good for me, but
yeah.
actually, secretly, it good for you too, maybe. And I learned that sometimes. I'm just kidding. I'm not doing it selfishly. It's only part of the reason why I'm doing it. I get to talk to these random people, and I am very stoked about that. But
Yeah, it's so fun. It's like I mean, it's really fun to hang out. It's like a lot of podcasts, probably if you guys listen to a lot of podcasts, I feel like a lot of podcast hosts usually will say like, "Oh, it's a great way for me to catch up with my friend." And it's like so true. That's also a way that we catch up, Sean and
as
I.
much as I want to be strictly philanthropic, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
just doing this for our listeners,
We have
one of the things
selfish
that
motives.
It's one of the things that helps us keep going, because it makes me feel like I'm still in the industry. I mean, as somebody who works from home a lot and skips from production to production a decent amount, and I feel sometimes disconnected from the industry. So it feels nice to have an excuse to just talk to. A lot of the times they're strangers too. Like I
Mm-hmm.
haven't. I don't know whether people think that we're friends with all these people before we talk to them, but most of these conversations, I feel like at least one of us doesn't know the guest.
I agree. I feel like especially recently there's more and more guests that we're like less familiar with, which I think is always like a really
Hmm.
fun thing. But you know, it's interesting that you always bring up feeling like you're kind of disconnected from the industry because you do a lot of these indie shorts. Like for example, you're pretty well known in the like a studio digital, Adult Swim Smalls, all of that kind of like um circuit. So I don't know, it's
Appreciate that.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
nice.
yeah. And you've been working on more Studio Digital shorts too. Like, when are those gonna get released, by the way?
I am excited about the next two that are coming out. Actually, real quick, I'm gonna paste a screen grab from each into our magma. They should be coming out in the next few weeks. I just finished two, and they're two of my favorite ones that I've made in a long time. I think they're funny and weird and stupid, and that's just the exact right combination of stuff. And also, I had told myself on these shorts I was just going to have a character just standing there, and I was going to make something easy.
I
Think
really like
again.
the raccoon one.
The
It's so
raccoon.
funny. It's funny because this one you really lean into just the character being weird, and it's not
Yeah.
there's not really any like
There's not really a joke
there's not
in
really
the
a joke.
cartoon.
It's
Actually, you know
just
what?
a
I'm gonna
weird
draw it
character.
instead of pasting it. I'm not gonna be lazy. I'm gonna draw my little raccoon guy. He sucks. He's so weird. He has human eyes. I meant for him to look kind of uncanny, like it's almost like you put
Yeah.
a filter, like a TikTok filter, that puts your head on a raccoon's body.
Yeah.
Um, and he has like a weird little gross nose. But I also I wanted to try out doing sort of like a new voice. The shorts before that, I had brought on some other voice actors. I had Spencer Rothbell, who did the voice of Clarence. He did the voice of a this character called the Pencil Fairy, that is summoned anytime you're in class and you forget your number two pencil. And the student was Ben Krause, who we just
Oh my
released an
gosh,
interview of. The
yeah.
Titanium. Wait, that should is going to come out by the time this comes out. Yeah, Titanium
Yeah.
Daydream.
Yeah,
Yeah,
y'all check out Titanium Daydream Creative Block episode because it's a really fun one. I think we really and also check out just their series. It's so crazy.
but I basically wanted to make a character who like kind of he's non-threatening, but he kind of corners you and makes you listen to his like tight five, like his like stand-up set. And it's not necessarily funny, but he's this weird raccoon in an alleyway who's like eating like noodles, he's stuffing noodles into his mouth.
Wait, who's
And
the voice of the raccoon?
raccoon is me. I wanted to.
Okay.
I think I was inspired by having these good voice actors on my cartoons, and I really like the voice of my character Good Boy, which is the other short that is going to be
Yeah.
coming out. I have a new short where he gives advice about how adults can stop cheating in their lives, but he interprets it like cheating on a test. And so he's giving kind of like kids level solutions to how to get your partner to not cheat on you or something like that. And good boy is kind of sounds like good boy. I am a good kid, and I have these three rules so that you can end up just like me. And so he has this kind of like high little voice. And one of the things that I find, to be the most gratifying about when you find a voice, is, that voice, I think, sounds very different from my voice. And
Yeah.
if I can listen to a cartoon that I voiced and have people not really know it's me, I think that I've done a good job, I guess. Uh,
Honestly, yeah, I still so talking about like all these like the voice acting, people who have seen High Moon Queen, the Adult Swim Smalls that I've done with Sam Gray, and who Sean voiced pretty much all of the male voice like actor like characters. We're doing three more, and so we're doing three more. Actually, let me share a screen and share like my little pitch Bible way of
Yes,
talking about
let's
this.
take a look, dude. I'm
Let's
so
take a look.
excited that more are happening.
It's
And yet
really
again, I've been put in the position of just having to do sexually charged
yeah,
moaning.
yes. You're such a team player for like working with us on these because it's so insane. And every time I feel like, hey, we put you through the ringer. But I will say, out of the next three episodes that we're going to release, first of all, I think they're so. I personally think they're so much funnier than the first three. I think the first three were already hilarious, but I
But
think
you're
the
setting the stage and set, you have to
yeah,
do all this like piloty kind of shit, you know?
exactly. And it's like now we can just like really kind of delve into her frustration, which is funny. And in the second episode, you do this guy who his kink is being like held hostage by these like big buff men. And so
He's always like, "Ah, save me, High Moon Queen. It would be so hot if you saved me. I'm in such danger."
there's it actually it's funny because at the script level, this one I was like, I don't know how I feel about this one. I was like, it's so formulaic and but I think it's maybe one of the funniest because your voice acting is so crazy and the drawings of the date is so funny and the studio who's animating so Adventure Noises this time we're so lucky that they Adult Swim hired Adventure Noises for us. So Adventure Noises is doing all of the rough animation, all of the layouts. They're cleaning up all the backgrounds, painting all the backgrounds,
That's so
and
sick.
they're so good. They work a lot with anime studios, and they're super good, super professional, so nice and fun to work with. And I don't know, the animations they're turning in are so great. So I can't wait for people to watch these new episodes. They're so insane. And yeah, I wanted to also like I'm sharing screen right now with the what I send it to people who are like curious about it.
Mhm,
Every
mhm.
time there's someone who's like, "Hey V, I know that you like worked on the Smalls. How do I reach out to the Smalls team?" And like, what did you send? I send them this.
Well,
The
yours
one,
is a good example of how to make a visually pleasing document with what you need, but also like I feel like people are worried that either there's too much text or there's too much drawing, and I think that
hmm
you have something fun to look at on every page. Your
yeah.
backgrounds aren't just blank, which is not, which is nice. So you put nice little psychedelic, stardust in the background, little sprinkles.
Yeah, because we were trying to sell. So every time I tell people, by the way, if you're listening to this and you're wondering how to pitch to Adult Swim songs, unfortunately, right now pitches are closed.
Pitches are closed, yeah.
They're closed in July. So I don't
Actually,
know.
I missed the cutoff too. I had originally planned to pitch, and I found out late that they were like, "Hey, can you send us
Mm,
like one of these full packets?" And at the time, I was just trying to pitch them something that so just for context, originally I had pitched a different thing instead of Bodyhead also alongside Bodyhead, and just to give them a choice. And they had
hmm
wanted to make a different thing other than Bodyhead, and I had to convince them to make Bodyhead. So I this time around I was like, "Hey, would you be down to make this other one?" And I found out a little late that they wanted like the whole packet, and I just ran out of time. But uh,
Oh yeah. Yeah, because
yeah,
these packets are kind of deceiving. I do share this with people who want to see it be to show like, hey, you don't have to work crazy hard. It's only 3 pages, but it is a lot of work to kind of like tighten it to only three
To
pages.
distill it down, yeah.
Yeah, because Sam and I had been working on High Moon Queen for like 3 years, I think, prior to pitching to Smalls. And what happened is that like eventually our manager was like, "Hey, at the time it was super hush hush, like it wasn't you didn't have a Google form to fill out to pitch because apparently this year Smalls got like over 1,000 pitches, which is crazy because I don't
Oh
think they
man,
can.
and their team just got smaller too. They could there
Yeah,
was some layoffs, so I feel bad.
yeah, there were some
Poor
layoffs.
team.
Yeah, it actually really sucks for creators when you meet, these execs that you like really like and vibe with, and then, like all of a sudden it's like, yeah, like overhead company problems, and then they're gone, and it's like, man, it sucks. I mean, they're still around and we can still like talk to them, but it's just kind of, it just sucks, like that. It happens on every level of every company,
I don't have objects permanence. When they stopped responding to my emails, they don't exist anymore. They're dead. I mourn them. I have a little funeral.
Yeah, a little funeral. Oh my God, that's crazy.
No, no, no,
Um,
no.
I forget. Yeah, I wanted to say just real fast, like what I wanted to just say also about these like three
Yeah,
pages is that we're just selling a vibe. And it's really important because whenever I talk to people about these, there's only Astra and Kugara in the pitch.
yeah.
And I feel like this is really important to remember. Like, it's important to see kind of like who the characters are, but the mayor is super important. And he wasn't even in our pitch Bible, he wasn't even in our pitches. Our pitches, none of our pitches were the actual pitch. The actual, I was like,
Well, yeah, I mean that's the thing with these like little development things is you pitch enough to get
yeah.
them bought into it, but
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot that happens back and forth after this goes down, and there's a lot that happens during the creation of the shorts that further develops it. So I think
Mm-hmm.
that while it's nice to try to think of every single thing that you could put in one of these in every single character, you're just not going to have
Yeah.
all of it.
Can I share your presentation for Bodyhead? Because yours is more involved. This is the presentation that you
Yeah, yeah,
did.
we can share a few pages of it. So basically, my update with Bodyhead. Right now, there's 3 episodes on YouTube, and what ended up happening is the reason why I'm not making more shorts at this time is because I'm stuck in between Smalls, who I think wants to make more shorts of this, and series development, who hasn't said no. And
Oh, yeah.
uh, yeah, so basically, I'm in this situation where anytime I talk to Smalls, they're like, just let me know what series says, and then when I talk to series, we'll have a meeting. They'll give me maybe some notes, and they'll say like, we're not saying no yet. We want to see if you can get to a place where you can convince us or sell us or whatever. And people at home might be thinking, hey, making 15 minutes of shorts isn't enough to sell them. I don't know. Sometimes the main thing they need, the main ingredient, is what they need to sell it to their superiors. Isn't uh isn't the actual shorts. It's like the game plan for how the series would go and the story and the point of view of the characters. And so I ended up making this
Mm,
after this actually my original pitch document for Bodyhead was just a 1 pager,
mm,
and I ended up convincing them partially because there was already the short of Fisthead that I had made. But so this was after the fact, and I have gone through and tried to make a comprehensive document of not only what I think we did right in the shorts that I'd want to continue, but also the things that we would want to change if it kind of got brought to a larger episode length format, etc. And in addition, like I wanted to kind of make sure that anyone who read it, if they hadn't seen the shorts, they would really understand. So I mean, if you want to just like flick through
Yeah.
the first like 5 pages are probably okay. Like,
Yeah. Because the first 5 pages just cover what's in the small. So there's no additional material that would
yeah,
be, yeah. Mm-hmm.
pretty much. So it's like, here's where they come from, here's like the dark origin story, and basically the foundation of like, these are characters. This isn't like a fighting cartoon. This is a a cartoon about characters who grew up around crime, who are trying to change. And so, we give the context here, and then we go to the school, and it's like them trying to like change their ways and not get in trouble, even though they like want to punch out their work study boss or whatever. And and it just sort of explains a little bit of the premise here. But I just, I thought I'd share that, even though this isn't super public yet, and no one has said yes to a series yet. The other part of it is that they haven't said no. So there's
Mm-hmm.
this little bit of hope that maybe, if we change some plot stuff around, if we change the character descriptions around a little bit, maybe we'll land on the right angle, or the right way
Yeah.
to describe them, that'll make them go, oh, okay, I know what these guys are trying to do. um so yeah, development,
And this is so
it goes
funny.
forever. Development is crazy. Development goes forever, and you're trying to read their mind, and they don't want to tell you exactly what they need or want. But I think that it, between between you and me, or all of us,
Mm-hmm.
the goal right now with Adult Swim is, they're anything that they make, they're trying to sell to HBO Max. So they're trying to get
Mm.
a certain amount of relatable, grounded, kind of sitcom adjacent stuff
Mm-hmm.
that is, like Rick and Morty ish kind of adult comedy that feels very secure. And even though this project doesn't seem grounded, the goal is, we're trying to make sure that outside of these characters, the world is more grounded than them, but also B, that each of these characters have grounded kind of emotional arcs that they go on, and they have a point of view and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
it's, it it's sort of like trying to ground an absolutely absurdist crazy idea in series, and who knows if it'll work. But yeah, that's where I am with this stuff.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that you bring up the way Adult Swim pitches to HBO Max, because I guess now it's back to HBO. I don't know. For anybody listening, in
HBO
case you don't
Max, yeah.
know, there was a merger, and then there's a demerger happening right now. So so it's crazy because for me, I guess I can say this. I've been developing an IP with Warner Brothers. An IP that I think is really cool and cute and I'm very excited about. And they paired me up with a writer who I really like. Her name is Jessica Combs. She's awesome. We vibe really well. And everything was going great until the demerger. So now what's happening with the
That word
demerger?
reminds me of Beastburger instead of
I don't
cheeseburger.
I don't even know if demerger actually makes any sense, but it's the only way I can make sense of this. Because
It reminds me
Discovery,
of like Gersperms,
right?
demerger, Beastburger. I don't know. I
Yeah.
know. I'm just derailing you. Sorry.
Because it's like Discovery and WB and so WB Cartoon Network were the same parent company, but then Discovery merged. Obviously, everybody knows about Zaslav, so yes, he like merged everything. He bought WB, merged everything. But now what's happening is that they are, and you can find articles about this if you're looking up
Actually, it's exclusive on Creative Block. They
exclusive
let us
kind of like
cover it.
that
Yeah.
would be amazing if we had this kind of info before anybody else. But we're too slow. We're too slow at publishing this. But basically, yeah, they're breaking away streaming and cable. So, all of cable is going to become its own entity, and then all of streaming is going to become their own thing. And so I feel like Adult Swim is probably caught up in all this as well, because Adult Swim
Yeah.
is both cable and streaming. And for me, the IP, it was a WB IP. I'm developing, and they don't know where this is gonna fall. If it's gonna fall with the streaming or with cable.
Yeah.
So it's kind of this weird thing. I mean, so even
Is this
the
separate from your cartoon short?
yeah, it is separate from the because my cartoon
Yeah.
short
Dude, you're doing
actually
so much. You have
I
so many things going on, dude. You have so many things that are they're dead in the water.
I
No, no, I'm
know.
just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm
I
kidding.
feel like, but I think it's like a good thing to bring up is that like, because you're the same too, Sean. You have like a million ideas because you have like you're doing Good Boy, you're doing Bodyhead. You also are doing a thing you're developing with Netflix right now. I
Oh,
mean,
I'm making we're developing a pilot. Like, and I'm not talking just pitching it. They're
yeah,
paying us money to write
yeah,
this thing right now. And that's what I'm doing as like my full-time job for like the next like 2 months.
yeah. Actually, can you talk a little bit about the inception of the project? I mean, without going into details what it
Sure,
is,
sure, sure, sure.
like
Yeah,
how
yeah.
long you've been working on it, like how did you get it to go all the way to Netflix? Because
I'll
I
try to
tried.
be quick about it. Yeah.
Mhm.
So this is actually based on a project that I first pitched to Frederator in 2014, and it was much different. The project has changed radically, different amounts of characters, different point of views, different all kinds of stuff. But what ended up happening was I ended up pairing up with the what used to be the head of Fox ADHD, Nick Weidenfeld. He is developing projects with a production company called ITV. He was actually also the producer on Friendship, that
Mhm.
new Tim Robinson thing. But
Oh, the movie, right?
yeah, so basically he works with people and basically finds ideas, and their company is able to fund bibles to be made, about like pitch bibles, and they develop it with you, and then you go in to pitch with them, and then so it's basically an alternative way to pitching, where
Mhm.
you can get your bible funded early and be paid for it, and have kind of like a reliable producer person go in with you to pitch with you. And so we pitched it to Netflix, we over to Aaron Davidson and at Netflix. And actually, you know what, he was at Amazon, and he
Oh,
liked it. He
yeah.
liked it at Amazon, and before he said yes at Amazon, he left Amazon, went to Netflix, and then took us with him and was like, yes,
That is so nice
to
because if
develop it.
for people listening, if you don't know what that means, it means that like Aaron could have said yes at Amazon and then left, and then the project would have been stuck at Amazon, but the
And no
project
one would have given a shit about it, because that was the
exactly.
person that cared about it, right? So
Exactly. Yeah.
so now basically the way that it works is they had us go off and write an outline. We turn in an outline to them. They release like a little chunk of the development money, and then they're like, okay, now go do a script. In this case, we're doing a storyboard script hybrid, where I'm working with my writing partners, Spencer Rothbell, who was the uh, head of story on Clarence, and while as he's writing the script, I'm taking certain scenes and boarding them, thumbing them out, and we work as a team to write in a very like visual way. And so we're trying that out. I'm not going to say it's experimental, because there's shows that have been storyboard driven before, but I do think that this is a little bit of a hybrid, because there is writing too.
By
Uh,
the way,
but
we keep bringing up Spencer Rothbell, who was the voice of Clarence. He's episode 111 on Creative Block 111. So we work a lot with
he
him.
is so funny.
He's so funny. He's done a voice on Halloween Queen as well. He's working with Sean for voice acting, but also writing. Check out his episode.
Yeah, no, so
Yeah.
that's a lot of fun, and it's a it's a possible thing that's going to happen, and I'm always pitching stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
it does feel good to get to like a slightly later stage with one of these pitches that just goes on for years. You know what I mean?
That's so true because I feel like so for people listening, so Sean, you've gotten further in development than I ever have. So for me, where I usually kind of the furthest I've gone was going to pitch to studios. So what happened recently is I did get a cartoons short. Actually, let me just kind of like switch tabs. If you guys
Mm.
paid attention to San Diego Comic Con and what was going on, Cartoon Network did have a panel, kind of highlighting their cartoons short. I think there was a total of something like 21. I was really lucky to be selected as one of the panelists to talk about it, and they showed my short. If you want to hear me, Jesse Moynihan, Nick Edwards, and Louis Zong. By the way, both Louis Zong and Nick Edwards were on Creative Block, so definitely check out their episodes. We'll get Jesse eventually on the podcast. And Katie Rice, we need to get Katie Rice on the podcast as well. We just kind of like, this is my big face. I guess face reveal. Wow. Uh
Well, I mean, you do have the mask there, so I think there's a little bit of a people that have been looking forward to the face reveal for a long time will be like, what the hell?
Yeah. I'm real. So, as part of this program, they made 21 shorts. Unfortunately, they're not released. We don't know when they're going to be released yet. We talked with the people. It's all tied up in legal. They're trying to figure out where they can distribute them, where. So, all of this, I think I can say because obviously, all of the creators. I mean, there was a little bit online. There was a little bit of a drama, I guess, or controversy where someone was like, they were like, why are these locked up? When are we ever going to be able to see them and all of that? But I think at the end of the day, we all of the creators really want to show the shorts, but it's like kind of out of everybody's hands because it's like so above everybody's pay grades. Like even our execs, even all the people who helped us make the shorts, like even everybody at WB wants to release the shorts, but it's like it's there's a lot of paperwork
Yeah,
and legal and like
yeah. They
red
have to
tape.
defeat the troll that's guarding the
Yeah.
shorts, and they need new technology. They need AI to do it, and so that's why on Creative Block we're announcing our official stance. No, I'm just kidding.
That's how we're
No.
like, we love AI. That would be
It's the only one that
crazy.
knows how to defeat the troll that's guarding V's unreleased short, and so no,
And
no,
if
no.
we ever released our shorts or pitched it to other studios, you can listen to JJ Villard's episode where
Oh
he
my
talks about
god.
what he did, which is
Yeah, what
so
happens?
crazy. It's so crazy. I mean, it's one of my favorite
Spoiler
episodes.
alert, it did not turn out well for JJ
Yeah.
to go and try to pitch it to other studios without the studio knowing, because they found
Episode
out.
179. So if you so we did have the panel, which was great. The room, I don't know how many people were in that room, maybe 500 people, 1,000
Yeah,
people
you had
saw
a
it.
much bigger turnout than my panel.
Oh yeah?
Yeah,
Wait,
well, I mean,
let's
listen, you
let's talk
guys had
about your
an
panel.
official. No. Don't go away from your panel. We have to finish talking about yours.
Oh yeah.
Your panel was like an official. It's like Cartoon Network is on the thing, so people,
Mm-hmm.
and it was probably during the day. So
It
I
was
had my
it was
panel was
pretty
a small guy.
early.
Yeah,
I think it was at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. So it was people's
yeah.
like first kind of, but we weren't main stage. We were in the Marriott, maybe. I don't
Mm-hmm,
know.
mm-hmm.
Maybe we were. I think we were in the Marriott. Yeah, it was kind of intimidating to see the whole crowd. I was like, V face reveal.
Well, dude, well, I saw your video that you posted of it,
Hmm.
and I was like, I don't even want to talk about my panel now. Look at all those people. That I mean, that's very cool. I'm happy that you guys were talking to all those people.
Oh yeah, and so I guess oh yeah, I need to finish my thought, I guess, on like pitching
Yes.
and development and how far I got and how you got further than I did. But like my short, like we developed it at WB and we started taking it out to studios and we pitched it to Adult Swim, Netflix, and Amazon. Unfortunately, everybody turned it down. It doesn't mean that you know, it's never gonna happen. It's just like right now there's no one that's like
Yeah.
willing to pay money for it. But that's why I'm kind of like, that's why a lot of creators were like, we would love to for the shorts to be released, because I do think like if the shorts got released and then if maybe they get big numbers, maybe that would kind of change people's minds. I don't know. So that's kind of,
I do want to devil's advocate here to play the other side of it. You
yeah.
keep saying that I've gotten further than you. I think that the programs that you have gotten involved with have allowed for a proof of concept,
Mm-hmm.
almost kind of like almost a proof of concept close to a pilot
Yes.
that actually I haven't gotten to very much. I would say Bodyhead is probably my closest thing to that, but you've done multiple of these kind of proof of concept things. It's just a different
I feel
style
like
of development process, and yeah, I'm just trying to get you to cut yourself a little bit of a break.
no, that's true. No, I guess what I was trying to say for people listening is so where you are would be where I would have been if somebody bought the pitch. You know what I mean?
Got
Like
you,
I
got you.
even if I did make the equivalent of quote unquote what would be a pilot,
Yeah.
let's pretend, let's do like a let's play pretend and it's like this and let's pretend Amazon bought it, then we would have had to go through another round of development with Amazon on it and then make a new
Yeah.
pilot. Yeah.
Yeah, so
So,
the part of the process I'm at is more of like the optioning stage where I'm not allowed to pitch it to other people, and
mm.
they have the exclusive rights to develop it with me for a certain period of time, but they have not greenlit it nor have they bought the official rights to it. And
Oh, interesting.
uh
Okay.
that's I guess the clarification. They could still at any point in this process be like, actually, we're not going to do this anymore, and
Mm.
everyone be like, I'm not surprised. Like that's
Yeah.
just how it goes. So so if you want to know, I mean, that's I'm on edge. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I'm on
No.
edge. We're back to the
Yeah,
beginning.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah, and just for any reporters listening, I'm not announcing that I have a show with Netflix. It's that we're writing a pilot right now, and
yeah.
trying to get them to say yes.
Yeah. And it's and then we can wrap up our conversation about pitching because people are probably tired of listening to us
Well,
about
yeah.
pitching.
Well, we're
But
talking about San Diego Comic-Con, and there's multiple things that happen at San Diego Comic-Con, which is cool.
oh yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit about your it is indie
Well,
animation panel?
Well, yeah. So very briefly, I was on this panel to talk about indie animation. Mine was at like 8 o'clock at night, and there's some people that came, but it was not anywhere near the turnout of your panel. And I think that what it opened my eyes to some of these panels, how sometimes a creator might hire a PR team
Mm,
to create a panel around their project to get hype around it. And
mm.
so basically, this panel was created around this father son duo who works on this um, series, a completely indie 3D series called Mech West, which is
Oh,
very,
nice.
very different from what
Yeah.
I make. They mostly their stuff is for um young teens, kids, like it's not adult. So at first when they asked me to be on the panel, I was like, are you sure? But they said that basically Titmouse had recommended me as somebody to go on this panel because Titmouse couldn't do it. And they
Hmm.
confirmed that Brooke Kiesling, who was actually one of the first people that ever said yes to a meeting to me in LA in like 2013, Brooke Kiesling went to have lunch with me when she was still development over at Nickelodeon. And she had worked at
Whoa.
development at Nickelodeon and Disney, and Bento Box is where she was most recently, even though I believe that she's moved on. um
Mm,
so what basically the panel was, a this father son duo and as completely indie, and then me, who's kind of like 1 foot in 1 foot out, and then Brooke, who sees it from the industry side, talking about how indie affects the industry, and getting pitches from indie creators and stuff like that. But I mean, it was a fun panel. One of the things that I thought was funny was we got this question: how do we see the future of how animators make money in the industry? And I said,
Ah,
well, the future of how I see animators make money in the industry is you find a partner with a regular job and they just support you, and
just
you know,
like comics. It's
and you
just
know,
like comics, dude.
and it was a joke, and it was a joke. I made my wife stand up in the crowd, and everyone gave applause, and
Oh,
and then my real answer was actually more something along the lines of what YouTube creators are doing now, where they work in
yeah.
sponsorships and advertising into their videos, and building more of this advertiser partnership with all these indie creators, whether it be in their feature length film, having like, I don't know, whatever, some handmade commercials or something. But that's probably along the lines of one of the ways that people might end up making money. But I drew, if you go down to the flyer, I drew
That's
this
so
flyer
cool.
and I drew them all gross, and I was like, I hope that they don't change their mind about having me on, because they did all bring it up. They were like, dude, you drew me crazy. And I was like, I don't know how to not draw you crazy. Look how small my face is. I drew me crazy too. And the moderator of the panel said that she had a one of her friends was like, are you mad? What do they hate you or something?
Oh my
Why did they
god.
draw you like that? And I was like, and they were like, no, it's funny, it's funny.
Oh,
But
good. Okay. That's so funny that they would get so wow. They're not even that
yeah,
bad. I feel like
yeah,
compared to some of the caricatures that you see sometimes on like the boardwalk or
yeah.
whatever, these are actually pretty tame.
But so even though they didn't have a full panel at Comic-Con, they sort of like did a soft premiere of Titmouse did this kind of like soft premiere at
Oh yeah.
of this project that I'm on at Comic Con, and then they followed up at Gen Con and did a full panel, and it's actually promoting two things, and I'm working on both of them. So there's a drinking. It's like Dungeons and Dragons simplified as a drinking game, and I did a bunch of artwork for it, and it's basically like a little board game kind of drinking game, with all monsters that are drug and drink themed. But also there is a new there's a new show called Draw Your Weapons that is it's Titmouse's first completely self-funded series. They made the whole first season themselves, and currently they're shopping it around, but they premiered the first episode at at Gen Con, and it's kind of like a yeah, I mean it's a premiere, but it's a rotating cast, and I'm actually in it, both as an artist drawing art for it, but also as a player, and it's a live D&D thing, and it's very funny and weird, and also makes D&D very approachable and scrappy without over explaining too many of the rules. Like, you can come in as someone who doesn't know that much about D&D, and I think it's very relatable and funny. But each episode they have a new guest star, and the first episode is with Jason Charles Miller. I think that I can say that, and I think that also in that post, I obviously there's Blake Anderson from Workaholics, so you might assume that he might be around in another one. But so I mean, I'm excited about that. At some point, they're going to be releasing where it's airing, but the series is fully filmed and made. They're just finding a home for it right now, so that's cool.
That's really cool. Also, I like this picture that I'm sharing. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or iTunes, like make sure you check out the YouTube video because I'm also screen sharing some stuff. But I like that that you're inside their D&D room. Mouse has this like crazy D&D room that's like
Yeah,
glow in
the
the
whole show is
dark.
filmed. The whole
Yeah,
show is filmed in there, and
that's
basically
crazy.
at Titmouse, they cut in half this weird van, and they mounted it on the wall. And when you open up the van door, it's a secret passageway to go into this D&D room, and
Oh,
that's where they
there's the
filmed.
van.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
filmed the whole show in there, and I mean, dude, it was like it was like a real set. Like I go in and I get my makeup done, and they dump antiperspirant stuff on me because I'm so sweaty, and they and like every once in a while the makeup person would have to like run in and dab me, mop me up, get take the whole
Whoa,
mop
no
and mop my up.
way.
But
That's the real
uh
deal. That's how you
yeah,
know you're
but
like
but
making a
they
real
they they
show.
filmed it. They filmed it kind of like a reality TV show where we're playing D&D, and then also there's this confessional booth where we are talking on the side about the other characters, like talking shit or like giving our
Mhm.
opinions about what is happening moment to moment, and it makes it into this like I don't know. It is a version of this kind of thing that I've never seen before. It's really fun.
That's so cool. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it. I really want to watch it now. I'm like, because it's funny because when I listened to you talk about it, Sean, at first you were like, I don't know. We'll see. It's
Well,
fun.
that's the
I
thing,
like
dude.
it, but
Dude, no, but the thing is I saw the premiere, and dude, it feels like a show, and it gets a lot of laughs. It's really funny. Shout out to Josh Knapp, who I met playing a D&D match with match. I played a D&D session with Pendleton Ward and Jesse Moynihan. We did a sci-fi D&D thing, and Josh Knapp was the DM, and later he went on to create this series, Draw Your Weapons, and he also was the producer on Bodyhead. He kind of just is involved in my projects now, and vice versa. But that it's a cool way that like it's a cool thing that demonstrates you never know what you could do or who you'll meet where this relationship might start that branches into multiple things. It's really cool.
yeah, no, that's true. It's so yeah, yeah. I'm excited for it. I'm excited to watch
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. I'm stoked. Yeah, check out. There's not really anything to check out right now, but keep your eyes out.
Yeah,
Follow Josh Knapp, or follow Titmouse on social media, and keep or follow me. I'll post about it when it comes out. But yeah, so that's exciting. What else happened at? Did anything else happen at Comic Con? I'm trying to
I feel like
remember.
nothing really. I don't think this happened at Comic Con, but there's something. I have ulterior motives, everyone. I have a secret agenda.
Oh no!
There's something that I want
What
to
does it
talk
mean?
about, which is there's been an announcement, a big announcement in the indie animation community. You guys have probably heard about it, but I wanted to talk about it. It's basically Spindle Horse announced a co-production, like basically the animated pilot of Homestuck.
Oh my
Uh,
God. You talked for everybody else's reference, V messages me about Homestuck every week, pretty much. Like just like, hey, what if we did this thing that's kind of like Homestuck? And like I'm just fascinated with like what are they thinking during this part? Like V will not stop talking to me about Homestuck.
it's funny because I feel like I don't even talk to you about it that much, but for you to feel like I talk about it all the time is so funny. Because the thing that's funny to me about Homestuck is like, okay, for people who listen to Creative Block, you probably have heard me bring up Homestuck a couple of times this year. And the reason is because it's Homestuck has been flagged to me like a million years ago. Like a friend of mine who's really deep into internet, like how much what you call it, like an internet
Lore?
sensation, like an
Oh, okay,
internet
yeah.
sensation. So he'll find all these like but very obscure. And he found Homestuck way back in the day. And I remember I was like, okay, I like to humor him. I would just go and kind of look at it. And I was just like, I don't understand this thing. Nothing about this
Yeah.
appeals to me. And I've tried, and then they would keep kind of like coming up because so Homestuck started in 2009 and I think it wrapped in 2016. And so it would kind of keep coming up, and every time I would try to read it, and then I would be like, I just don't get this, and it's not appealing to me. And and then during the pandemic, it got really big again. And so I was like, okay, I gotta read it. And
Yeah.
also Worthy Kids, who was on Creative Block, by the way, he said he was big in the Homestuck fandom. He kind of started doing
Hmm.
his like a lot of animation for Homestuck for the fandom.
I
He
didn't
even
realize
listed
that.
it.
That's cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Homestuck is, I think there's something that isn't really kind of talked about when it comes to Homestuck is that how much influence it had over artists. Like, apparently, okay, I'm not gonna say his name, but there's an Adventure Time artist, like an original, an OG storyboard artist from Adventure Time, who was a big Homestuck fan. Homestuck was known in the animation community. And and sometimes I think they even like kind of snuck in some little like Easter eggs like about the comic. And so eventually I was like, okay, I have to read, I have to read it. I have to
Yeah.
read it just at least for research. At least for research, I gotta read it. So with the people on my Rodney Discord, I was like, I'm gonna do a book club. I'm gonna finally, I'm gonna read it because it's been like years that I've been saying I'm gonna read it. And so we started in January, actually. It was like a 2025 like resolution. I'm going to read Homestuck. And I really thought I wasn't going to be able to do it because it's super long. It's 8,000, it's yeah, 8,000 pages. And
Damn, it's like starting One Piece, dude.
it really is. And I think what's even harder about Homestuck to read than One Piece is that One Piece, at least there's a lot of pictures. Homestuck sometimes, I mean, Homestuck does this thing that's kind of interesting where it like will be, you will have, I kind of call it like, uh it's the same format as there's a very specific way that you know when you're in elementary school and you write like a diary, and so you do the
Yeah.
picture up top and then you write at the bottom.
Hmm.
Homestuck actually is that format. You have the picture up top and then you have all the text at the bottom. It's just that sometimes when you click through images, sometimes there's no text, so you can just click through like a storyboard. But sometimes you'll like open up the text and it's like pages and pages of text, and you scroll to read all of it. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I skim through the text because I was like, there's just too much text, and they're just kind of, there's moments when the characters tend to repeat themselves a lot, and sometimes you have like characters experiencing one thing
Yeah.
in the one side of the universe, and then character A and B experience this thing, and then they go like A go and meets up with like D and F, and A is going to be like, hey, by the way, let
And
me tell
seven,
you
eight,
everything.
nine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything
Do you have the is it a YouTube video about the announcement? Do you want to bring that up just to kind of have it on
Yeah,
the screen?
I
Because
forgot to pull it up, but yeah.
is this the trailer? Because I also saw an animation trailer for it that I believe I sent you at one point.
Yeah,
So I was like,
let's
V's gonna shit.
so for this happened, I mean, this has got only 10K views. That's interesting. I GalaxyCon, was that also where you had the thing with about draw your weapons? Was GalaxyCon also?
Gen Con? I've
Oh no, Gen Con is different
no,
than
Gen Con's
GalaxyCon.
different. No.
Okay. So obviously everybody go and check out that video as well. But
Oh shit.
yeah, they've animated a trailer. It's really interesting for me seeing this animated. I do think the style is great and it fits Homestuck perfectly.
Hmm.
And I think they're making a lot of great choices that go with the webcomic really well. This really feels like what the comic is. Because the comic at
That's
first
awesome.
when you read it, it's very so that's just a trailer, and then people just kind of keep talking about it more. So if you
Yeah.
want to hear more
Yeah.
about everything that's going on with this, just make sure to check out this video.
That's really cool.
I think it's so cool because I think the animation looks great. I think, and people who read the comic, you see that the kind of animation that Homestuck featured in the panels, because a lot of panels are animated, is very like Y2K Cartoon Network, where it's very kind of like uh cartoony. And when I say cartoony, I specifically mean the kind of cartoony where it's like a lot of overshoot settle, I'm
Yeah.
kind of technical with this language, but it's like not a lot of in betweens. It's just very snappy animation, and I think that's
Yeah, squishy. Yeah, it's
portion
squishy,
stretch.
stretchy. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I personally think okay. I heard apparently online is controversial, but like because apparently from what I gathered, is like a lot of the Has Been Hotel fandom is not super like versed into Homestuck and or also maybe don't like Homestuck and a lot of Homestuck people fandom
Oh, a
doesn't like Has
rivalry.
Been Host. Yeah, so it's like
Yeah,
it's kind of like the two rivals that this trailer is kind of
yeah.
like putting together. But I feel like I'm not very well versed in Has Been
No,
Hotel and Hell of a Boss. I've only watched the
I hope they
pilot for both.
release a very. I hope they release a musical sounding diss track where it sounds like a Broadway musical with a lot of cursing, but it's like a diss on Homestuck. You know, that would
That
be
would be
sick.
that would be but honestly, I because Homestuck is so like the age of the internet where it was like very ironic,
Yeah,
like it was like
yeah.
the whole I think that would fit because there's a little bit of I don't know, I think that would work. I feel like I don't see it being incompatible, and I actually do believe uh there's a lot of overlap between the two properties
Hell
in
yeah.
so it's exciting. I think it's super exciting. I think a lot of people are like, but how are you going to condense 8,000 pages of like random tangents and random bullshit happening into a couple? But
Yeah,
I was talking to a friend who knows Andrew Hussey, and apparently Andrew Hussey did work on a movie treatment. And so I think there is work that has been done behind the scenes that might not have been shared with the public, but there has been work that has been done to condense it all in a
that's sick.
digestible form. So I think it's going to be really cool.
So,
Um,
so I think that we're sort of edging into this conversation, or transitioning into this conversation, about kind of things that are going on in the animation, in and out of the animation industry, in and out of the kind of the animation sphere, whether it be internet shorts or things that we're excited about. And we want to try to do a little bit of this to kind of like put you guys on to some stuff that either we're excited about, but also to incentivize if you guys come across something cool that you think we should be talking about in one of these episodes, or something that you want us to react to, or something like that, hit us up on the Discord. It's one of the cool things about our Creative Blog Discord community is people can share things that they're excited about, and I kind of want to open that up to help perpetuate, if we do more of these. Also, if you guys hate this, let us know in the comments.
yeah.
Like, yeah, like, if you hate just hearing the two of us talk, and you're like, listen, the only reason we like you guys is when you know someone interesting. Like, I told you, totally get it. Yeah, that's the only time I like me too. But um, I guess is do you have anything else that you want to talk about on this topic? I'd like to talk maybe about bullet time just for a second,
Yeah, do you want let's watch a
because that's
little bit of
another
Bullet
thing.
Time.
That's another thing that dropped during it premiered, or dropped during San Diego Comic-Con, and it's this insane cartoon that is, I believe, it's completely hand drawn. It's
Hand drawn by a
very,
position is like drawn on tablet.
I believe that a lot of this is animated on paper.
Oh wow. Okay.
I believe, but I could be wrong. They could be using hand drawn in the other way. Either way, it feels like it was done on paper. It's this absolutely insane callback to a lot of the
Like Ren and
like old,
Stimpy.
yeah, old Ren and Stimpy, Rocco's Modern Life, Courage the Cowardly Dog. These sort of like cartoons that are a little gritty, a little grimy, and also, I'm not gonna lie, I like that it's a cartoon that it doesn't feel super plot heavy. We're
Mm-hmm.
straight up doing gags about this guy playing cartoons,
Mm-hmm.
for the whole, sorry, playing video games for the whole time. And somehow it's this interesting intersection in between industry and internet. It was created by Eddie Alcazar, and voiced by Eric Bausa, who does the voice for Bugs Bunny.
Mm.
The soundtrack is done by Danny Elfman randomly. Like
Wow.
I believe that there's some animation by the creator of Monkey Wrench, Zorro.
No way. Yeah, he's a big
Um
name in the indie scene.
dude, it is this weird, honestly, it's this random weird powerhouse like chimera of different outside of industry and inside of industry fans of this type of animation. And I believe that it's being considered as a pilot, but what I love about this is it's fully animated. It's full I believe that they have some like Rocco's Modern Life background artists on it or something like that. But
Mm.
it's cool. It's this genuine expression of indie animation as a love letter to this old style of making cartoons that has kind of gone out of fashion a little bit.
David Firth, isn't it? The salad
David
finger?
Firth is in there too. Salad Fingers. He's
That's
in it too.
crazy. Wow.
Isn't
Okay,
it?
let's
Dude, it's
just
so
watch a
funny.
little bit of it just so
Yeah.
you guys can get a little taste, and then obviously you'll go and watch the trailer.
And support the tune, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, this looks really good.
I mean, and it's insane, and I don't know if it
Yeah.
makes sense, if it makes that much sense, but it's just a cartoon for being a cartoon for just for the sake of it, and the designs are absolutely insane, and the colors are crazy, and
Yeah.
it's fun, and it's fun, but yeah, I this came out and premiered around the same time as San Diego Comic-Con, so I wanted to talk about it just as a and potentially shout out. We have a few things that we're excited about here, and I think we can kind of trade off.
Yeah.
But there's a few things that just friends of the show, people that we've interviewed, have released very recently. This one I feel like was, yeah, 4 days ago it was released, and we just interviewed Keith Packies.
Yeah, and Keith
Packus.
Packus. Yeah, he's so good because he does these all on his own. I mean, obviously definitely listen to the interview to kind of like hear more of like how he actually makes these, but like I don't know, the level of like and how fast he just puts these out because he just put out the
Yeah,
basketball short a couple months ago, right?
yeah. Yeah,
He's
and they're these like fairly long shorts that he does
yeah,
mostly by himself. I think he gets the help of Harper Sims also, which who I
nice.
think that we're going to be interviewing soon.
Yeah, we're gonna be interviewing Harper soon. They're a really great illustrator. This is so gnarly, dude. When I watched the short, I was like, the
My wife had to
word,
look away. Yeah,
yeah,
my
the
wife does
words
not
is
like that part.
so gnarly. Yeah,
But
when they
the
like go
short,
in the head.
but you know what speaks volumes? Even though that part grossed out my wife and she was like, I cannot watch this, my wife was stayed and was laughing for the rest of the short. So I think that that's a good sign that even people
Yeah,
that are grossed out by the short can laugh. And in general, this Moon County YouTube channel deserves so much love
yeah.
from Keith. And I just think that yeah, we should shout out cool
I just want to
cartoons that have
play
come out.
really fast when he's like menacingly walking towards the camera because it's so crazy. The joke. Oh my God.
It's so gross, dude. It's
It's
so
so
gnarly.
good. Yeah, Keith is so funny too because he's like such a like he's so tame as a person, but his shorts are so crazy. I don't.
Another short that came out recently is Deep States,
Oh
episode 2, which
yes,
is
from
Molly Wright.
Molly.
It's another completely independently made series. Episode 2 came out. It's very trippy, paranormal, kind of dipping its toe into kind of occult
And what was
stuff.
really interesting about Molly Willie Mae's episode is that she is Meat Canyon's main compositor. And what I really enjoy about her shorts is how like the attention to compositing, like it makes her
It's
animations just look
compositing is the star in
yeah,
these.
yeah, yeah. And it just looks so cool. I think yeah, it can go a long way with just like sometimes a still image. And cool compositing. Yeah, I mean, I really want to watch this one because Deep State One was pretty cool too. It's always like kind of you're going into the psyche of
Yeah.
someone, and it's very It I would say for me when I watch these, it reminds me a little bit of like the surrealist like films,
Yeah.
but it's animated, so it's
Yeah.
really cool.
As I don't think that we can get into all of these or watch all of these, but I think there's a I want to ask you, are there any things that you're keeping your eyes on or excited about in the world of like independent animation? Just even to shout out, even if we're not like playing the short,
I
is
think
there anyone you're excited about right now?
I do. I am. I We were kind of talking about Kiana Mai kept kind of like coming up because she recently released a pilot for Pretty Please I Don't Want to Be a
Dude,
Magical
it's so
Girl.
well done, and it's such a good example of being able to use
Yes.
storyboards as a way to pitch your pilot and have it be totally fine.
And the designs are so cute. I also really like that she did so when you kind of scroll through the pilot, you see like a big spike where the what you would call it, the final animation test is in there. I think it's really smart to
Yeah,
put
let's
in the
show that
pilot.
real quick.
Yeah, just one scene where it's like, oh, look, this is what it could look like.
And it looks amazing. It
It
looks
looks
beautiful.
right. Yeah, it's so good. And I like that it's three shots to show
Yeah,
kind of like not only kind of like the fully animated shots, then the more
yeah,
cartoony ones, and then sometimes there's a color card. And I think in terms of a proof of concept, it's really smart. And I mean, from looking at Kiana's socials, we haven't reached out yet to kind of like talk more about this, but from looking at her socials, it looks like there was a lot of interest in the pilot.
yeah,
I will say, from what I have heard, Hollywood is actually looking at YouTube for pilots now.
yeah.
There is
That's
a
true.
two obviously like everything else, it's both really exciting, but there's also like a sadder part of that conversation. The exciting part is that
Yes.
like if you want to get noticed, if you are an animator and you have your big ideas and you want to make a pilot, you should do it. And who knows, it's like playing with
Yeah.
slot machines. You might win big, but
I mean
also
that's why Digital Circus got onto Netflix basically, and I
Mhm.
was talking to one of the executives during a screening, and he was like, "Dude, Digital Circus just landed on the platform," and the executives are freaking out and running around like, "Why is this one of the most popular things on the platform right now? We don't
Mhm.
understand how to make it or why it's doing so well," and I think it's just if a fandom likes a thing, if you can garner a fandom
Mhm.
that shows up and supports that, it beats any advertising budget that they can kind of throw at something. If you just find a way to put it online and get people to notice it, um
Yeah. And it doesn't even have to be that many views. From stories that I've heard, and I'm not going to say too many details because obviously it's like all NDA and stuff. Even the pilot that has around like 20K or 50K views is enough to maybe sometimes catch the eye of an
sure,
exec. And
100%.
the only I will talk about the downside because we have to
Oh,
talk about all of
oh,
the sides. But the one downside of it is that, like, unfortunately, then that puts it all on the creator to do the pilot. So that means that, like, you got to figure out a way yourself as a creator to just make something
yeah.
that used to be paid by the studio. So, that's the one thing that sucks is that, like, something that you used to be able to make a little
Mhm.
bit of money for, now they're sort of kind of expecting you to not be paid to do it. They kind of want
But
you to do it for free.
you don't have to make the whole pilot. That's the thing, is a
Yeah.
lot of what these things are doing are they're acting as a proof of concept to show what it would
Yes.
be like over a sustained period of time, and what's the vibe. Like even from that completely finished clip, you get the perfect combination of like
Yes.
pretty anime crossover American backgrounds with kind of like the Steven Universe style pastel stuff, but it's combined with this kind of like crass slapstick humor, almost adult kind of gag where she's beating someone's knee in with a pipe. And I think that just even that setting the tone for, I mean, that's pretty much the tone of this pilot, is like where these things meet. You expect this person to be a magical princess that is perfect, and actually they're violent. They're violent and they don't want to be what
Yeah.
people expect them to be. um I guess just as a can I just like shout out some stuff that I'm
Yeah.
excited about recently. So
Mhm.
and we don't even have to watch the videos, but Punch Punch Forever came out with a new episode recently, and it's one of my favorite examples of indie animation altogether. Like
Yeah, that's one.
right now, it's so over the top, you know, like mock anime, reminiscent of Newgrounds stuff, but it's better animated than a lot of Newgrounds stuff, and it's awesome. I don't know what their team is like or how many people are working on this, but keep your eye on Punch Punch Forever. It has such a good combination of jokes and really cool action. Another one to keep up with is Worthy Kids has been releasing new
Mm-hmm.
Big Top Burger episodes. If you've been keeping up with that, and we're really going into kind of the lore of these characters. I think first season was setting up almost like these standalone episodes with these characters, so you can get to know these characters. But we're doing a lot of world building in season two. It's really cool to see Worthy Kids dig into the writing of this. And I mean, these new episodes have been coming out every few months, and so that's
Mm-hmm.
really cool. Another one to keep your eyes on: Bridge Kids. Bridge Kids, a kind of like kids in school style show with a lot of like really good writing and talking. And I can tell if you like home movies or something where characters are talking back and forth and kind of improvising and stuff, it feels like a lot of those. And the episodes are long. This dude is really making and writing these tons of these episodes
Mm-hmm.
independently, just completely independently, and I think it's really impressive. Some quick shout outs: one of these up and coming channels, Dungeon Soup, has been releasing a lot of stuff, primarily about this barbarian. You're used to these kind of like Conan tropes, but it's just this insane barbarian, and the jokes are good, and it kind of parodies kind of this high fantasy kind of world that we're used to seeing. And I mean, he's coming out with stuff very frequently, and I can tell that maybe this person has been influenced by Meat Canyon a little bit, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And it's cool to see new generation, even though Meat Canyon isn't even that new, to see
Mm-hmm.
people that are inspired by him making these cartoons. And obviously shout out to Meat Canyon. Was that episode 69?
Yes.
He came out recently with a cool horror short that is very pop culture. It's about this drama with pirate software. It's a very clever metaphor about this person who is constantly putting their foot in their mouth, like basically messing up and then not wanting to say sorry. And they put their foot in their mouth so much that it turns into this kind of like Ouroboros, like snake eating itself situation. It's this weird horror short that does this smart commentary about this extremely uh like kind of Twitch streamer, YouTube streamer drama thing, which is also, I think,
I think,
um,
yeah,
very specific to Meat Canyon. Not many people do that kind of pop culture animation.
I think what's crazy with like what Me Canyon does on his, and I'm always so impressed, is that he's able to look at the latest of what's going on online. He's super
Yeah.
caught up with everything online, which I'm not, and he's able to analyze it really fast, and he's able to make commentary on it that I think is always not only really smart but also artistic in an ironic kind of way. I it's
He's still animating what he wants in the style that he wants, and he's still doing horror stuff, but
Yeah, yeah.
it's basically he's bringing pop culture into his weird horror universe, and I think that that is a good model to do parodies by, because oftentimes you'll see people parody and it's just parody for parody's sake, but I think that there's an interesting world, like what kind of overall world are your parodies living in, or like, or style. I think that's an interesting conversation, kind of.
I think he's almost kind of what I would call like the new South Park in a way because of how fast he's able to do the turnaround on these and how
Yep.
like
Yeah.
true to it's not the news because he's not like doing the news cycle like South Park is doing, but he's doing like the internet drama sort of news because he was like really able to catch like these waves of like different like trending hashtags on platforms or like YouTube drama and kind of make
Yeah.
commentary on that. And yeah, I don't know. And talking about South Park, that happened also during San Diego Comic-Con when there was the episode of South Park that used AI. And that was the
Yeah.
first time that South Park made an episode that I feel like because, okay, so it was commenting on being bought out, right? Let me just
Yeah.
get the story straight. They were, get, because they're under, so they're Comedy Central, and Comedy Central is under who?
Is it Paramount?
Yeah, yeah, right? Yeah,
there,
yeah,
there there
right?
was there was a deal that they were mad about, and so they're doing this combination of it's like they're pitting their enemies against each other. One, the company that owns them, and two, the presidency.
Yeah.
So it's like they're like pitting their enemies against one another by making absolutely crazy episodes about Donald Trump, you know.
Yeah, because all right, so I pulled up the article real fast. Actually, I'll put it here. So if you guys want to kind of like be a little bit more in the know with this whole, I guess, controversy, um it started with the whole controversy around the 60 minute the lawsuit because on 60 minute because
Mm-hmm.
Kamala was apparently edited in a way that made her look better. So Trump was unhappy about that and sued Paramount for it. And I think Paramount, what happened was that they kind of gave in and were like, okay, they settled. So Paramount settled, but they did want to get exclusive rights to South Park. And even though they knew this episode was going to come as part of the deal, they still kind of went forward with it. It's very interesting. I don't know. In my
No,
opinion, it's
it
very
is
meta.
very interesting, and they keep poking, Trump and the people around him. I think one of the interesting things is
Is it deep fake?
what if, yeah, because they use deepfake AI for Trump. What if this is the thing that gets a, Trump to crack down on AI? Like, does he need to be put in deep fakes with his penis out to convince him to be like, AI sucks, it's targeting me, it's making me look weird as I walk through the desert? Like, I don't know, I don't know, but if it was going to happen, I got to imagine it's got to be because of something like that.
I agree. I mean, listen, they're doing the work by being like,
Oh
"Hey,
my
dude, you
god,
want this to be your future?" I think
it's gnarly.
it's really gnarly. I would say for people curious, watch the snippet. I think it's on this article. I think it's hilarious. I mean,
It is very
obviously
funny.
a
Yeah.
lot of you may feel however you feel about this. It's obviously
Yeah,
South Park.
just
It's
be
made to be
warned.
controversial.
Just be warned. It's semi pornographic.
Well,
just don't watch it with a baby.
yeah. Well, let's
But
say that you see his penis. So
yes,
don't
and it
that
starts
yes.
talking, I think. But
And it starts talking.
uh,
And it's
I
in live action. So what we're saying is that it's not a cartoon penis. So before you go in and watch it,
yeah,
it's not a cartoon penis, it's a real
yeah.
penis.
So honorary mentions for other little things going on to look forward to. Joel Haver is announced, it might have been like 2 months ago or something, that he's making and crowdfunding a full length feature, which I think is very cool. Joel Haver, you may know from his kind of like if you were a peasant from Elden Ring or something videos, he uses a very particular style of um animation that I mean no one makes stuff that looks like this. His cartoons are very funny. Um and it also borders on like it's not just a cartoon. It's like there's clearly drawing in it, but it's somewhere in between sketch comedy and cartoon. But I just wanted to shout that out, and I also wanted to just shout out. I sent a new video V in the Zoom, maybe a video for people to watch. Basically, Glitch, who we've interviewed an animator that has worked on a bunch of glitch properties, including Digital Circus. We interviewed Kevin Temmer recently, who works extensively with Glitch on Digital Circus, and and a bunch of those shows. Basically, there's a video that they released. They released this a while ago, but I do think that this is good to watch for people who want to keep up with the upcoming indie animation stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The Glitch is kind of at the center organizationally of a lot of cool big internet animation things, including Monkey Wrench, including Punch Punch Forever, including I believe Dana Terrace is it Guinevere?
Yes. Genevieve or Guinevere? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Um uh they're involved with they have their hands in all these pies and pots, and I think it might be a good video just to watch if you want to be in the know about the cool internet animation stuff coming out. The only place that's like a central hub of like how you can find interesting new animation properties that I know of is a Studio Digital, which
Mm-hmm.
does a ton of shorts and we talked about them a little earlier, but basically they pay different creators to make a new short, and they release a new short almost every day, a 30-second short, and they feature basically a variety of different animators and creators. So if you're ever like, I don't know enough current animators and I want to find some more, I think these are some good places to find them. I don't know if you have any other suggestions for if our guys want to find
I think
something new.
something I'm gonna say something maybe a little like that's like a little bit of a roundabout, but I what I personally like trying to do more of is going out of my way to like curate my algorithms. I try to specifically engage with anything that's animation. I whenever I'm like on Instagram and I
Mm-hmm.
see a cool reel, I like it. I bookmark it and I try to subscribe, and that way the algorithm learns from me that I want to see this content, and
Yeah.
then it will recommend me more of that. So with YouTube, I try to do that as well. Hopefully Clemens will have hidden all of my absolutely horrendous algorithm recommendations right
For those
now.
of you who can't see, it's basically like cool animation stuff coming up, internet animation stuff, and then stuff that it just is basically unhinged, like people arguing
Yeah.
politically or like whatever. Like it's stuff
Like
that you wouldn't
a lot of
really
like red
recommend to other
pill
people.
content, and I'm like, I don't know. Listen, I have to look at the darkness in its eyes.
Yeah, so the thing
And so
is V on the side runs a red pill dating advice scheme where they have a bunch, it's like a pyramid scheme, but like how to date people.
you joke
And
around with this, but I actually had that idea one day, and I was like, no, the dark side cannot be like calling to me that way.
dude, that's crazy to admit. I also think it's funny we have totally stopped drawing, but that's okay. We're very focused on these recommendations. I think
No,
your
but I think
last thing on your little docket was this K-pop Demon Hunter thing, yeah?
oh yeah, let's talk about this really fast. I think this is a really
Animation
interesting,
news.
yeah, animation news. I think this is a really interesting article. It's from Forbes, and the title of it, I mean, if you're watching the YouTube video, you can find it. It's the title is Sony lost big on K-pop Demon Hunters, records success, says report. And this is a very kind of businessy, money article, but I think it's relevant for people who like are really interested in Hollywood, the industry, and how everything works. So even if you have a major success, which looks good for a studio like Sony, the problem is that they're not making all that much money from it because of the deals they struck with Netflix. So obviously the article will go in a lot more details, and it's interesting because they quote Matt Belloni, who is the host of The Town. This is a great podcast if you're interested in everything Hollywood. Obviously, if you're listening to Creative Block, you're probably more interested in animation. But I mean, they do cover animation every now and then in The Town. They mostly cover the really, really big name animated projects like Disney or Pixar projects. But Matt Belloni kind of tries to really go into how the deals are made, like the business side of things, the emerging technologies, and really kind of a little bit of creative also, but it's more like the
Hmm.
how the business works. And I think if you want to go into Hollywood, if you're interested in the workings of Hollywood, I think it's a really good podcast. And so basically, like the article just kind of says that even though it's a major success for Netflix, and it's kind of slated to become their own Frozen. It looks like Sony only took home, where is the number? Uh, Sold the right to Netflix, and now reports are saying that Sony will end up making just 20 millions in profit on that deal because of these terms. So very interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Contracts, y'all.
Hmm.
Contracts. Uh, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've been seeing this. I've been seeing K-pop Demon Hunters everywhere. I was at a life drawing event where there's a naked person standing in the middle of the room and everyone drew them. And on the playlist there was a K-pop Demon Hunters song, which was so epic sounding for what we were doing. Like it was all. I was like, are we in a? Is someone gonna crash a Jeep through the wall like right now? But it looks interesting. It's not necessarily something that I would normally watch, but it does seem cool, and people love musicals and stuff.
Yeah, I think I mean I still have to watch it. I've heard a lot of great things about it. I think it just seems like a fun animated movie, and I think my personal point of view on this is that there's not a whole lot of content, animated content specifically for women. I mean, I guess there was like Disney was doing that for a while, but let me try. Okay, this is a this is a test for us all. What are the last Disney movies that came out? I mean, I guess Wish was one, but that
Dude,
didn't
I
really.
straight up don't know a single one.
You don't know?
I don't keep up with Disney. Yeah, I am completely out of the Disney loop. Pocahontas.
Ah!
No,
Get out of
I'm kidding. I'm
here!
kidding.
No, but it's funny. Yeah, I mean, I'm the same. I haven't seen any of the Pixar movies or the Disney movies that came out recently. I reluctantly watched Moana, which was nice. I mean, but I guess Moana 2 came out. I guess that's something. I guess that's
Wasn't there another one that there was a different one that flopped that it came after Moana. It was like a little guy
A little
who,
guy.
and people just didn't even know that there was a release or something.
Was it Elio? But
I think so.
Elio, but that's yeah, that's Pixar. But I guess Pixar
Oh,
and
my
Disney
bad,
is
my
kind of
bad.
the same. But yeah, I agree. I've heard a lot of people talking because Elio released at the same time as K-pop Demon Hunter around the same
Yeah,
time, and nobody really cared about. I haven't seen it, so I can't really make a judgment on it. I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's just that there's not that many movies. I
yeah,
mean, Disney will do maybe one a year with the princess, but there's not that many movies
yeah.
for girls. And I think I think it's an
I
untapped
think you're right.
market, and
Yeah.
I just don't know why I don't know. I think I'm always
Girls don't
surprised,
watch cartoons.
right?
They're too busy. Girls are too busy watching
Live action, that's what they say. They say they
reality
yes.
TV. They're too busy watching the Kardashians.
I know, it's funny. I don't know.
Yeah,
Listen.
it's and that's because there's no cartoons for them to watch.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. And
yeah.
I've had that conversation a million times with my girlfriends,
That's
and
crazy.
we're always like, well, there's all this shoujo content, and even Please Please I Don't Want to Be a Magical Girl, that's a girl show, and people love it. It has millions of views, so I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah, yeah.
Listen,
They're just doubters and haters, and the
yeah.
patriarchy is real, dude.
The picture
What?
is real. It's true though. I will say, and this is I mean, take it with a grain of salt because obviously I'm the one who pitched, and these are my IPs, so obviously I have like and I like I don't know stakes in this, but
Like
like
a bias, yeah,
most of my pitches recently have girl protagonists because I'm like it's easier for me to convince the person I'm pitching to
yeah,
that I have like a
yeah,
personal tie to the project if the main character is a woman. I don't know. It's just
yeah,
it feels easier for me
yeah.
to sell that. But
Mhm.
it's like but
The
then
people
every
you're
time
pitching to are a bunch of guys, and they're like, "I don't get this. This,
it
see, I'm not relating to this, and I don't know why. What if you had it be a boy?"
it's not really so much that they
No, no,
don't say
no.
it that way, but there is it's
Oh,
interesting
they don't
because
talk
in
exactly like that. They're not like, no, I don't want a character who's a girl because I don't get it.
no, but what's funny is that they don't think that a girl show can be as like funny or crass as a guy show. And it's
Yeah,
really interesting. It's just so it's not said in the same it's not said in the way that like I can't relate to this, but it's said in the way of like it's not with these words, but it's a little bit like I don't know, girls, I don't know, kind of like we
gotcha.
and it's I don't know, I just think it's interesting. I think it's funny. I'm
Yeah.
not making a I it is what it is. It's just an observation.
Hmm.
We can
Well,
all have our feelings
well,
about it, but
I've seen that, maybe the girls will be happy to know that King of the Hill is back, and I know that everybody keeps up with it as their favorite magical girl anime. No,
yeah.
but there is a conversation about it that King of the Hill is an American anime.
Yes.
What are your thoughts?
I totally agree in the sense that okay, so there's this thing that I've noticed where it's like people in the US tend to call it's funny, I've noticed they stop calling sitcoms sitcoms, they call them slice of life now. And
That's so
because
funny. What?
Because King of the Hill is a sitcom. Am I crazy for saying that King of the Hill is a sitcom? But
Yeah, it should be considered a sitcom, but if
and
you view it
nobody,
as a slice of life anime, that's
right?
very funny actually. Yeah.
A lot of people call King of the Hill Slice of Life. A lot of people called Rodney Slice of Life my webcomic. And a
Yeah.
part of me was a little miffed because I was like, well, I see it more like a sitcom. Because for me, a lot of this is just me. This is just me and my little hill to die on. Feel free to fight me
King of
on
the Hill
this.
to die on,
My King of the
literally.
Hill to die on. And it's just like, I think Slice of Life is a lot of the time, to me, it feels like it's something that it feels like it's a term that you call something when nothing happens.
Yeah.
When not, and I'm like, but
Yeah.
stuff is happening. So I'm like sad inside of my heart because I'm like, I try so hard to write these conflicts and things are and for drama to happen, and people are like, it's slice
Are
of life,
you
nothing's happening
are
here.
you are you down really quick to bring up the King of the Hill trailer and
Oh yeah, let's do it.
just even if it's going to be something that Clem has as a standing still thing underneath what we're talking about. Um
Yeah.
I have you seen any of it? Have you seen clips or have you watched an episode yet?
I haven't seen the new King of the Hill. I watched
Yeah.
a lot of King of the Hill during the pandemic, and I love that show. It's so funny.
Yeah. So
Um,
the biggest thing that I think that people are saying is it takes them a little while to get used to the new animation style. I think
yes,
that things are moving more fluidly because we're dealing with more um more symbol
like
kind of
puppet. Yeah,
based puppet animation. I think on top of that, and the thing that people aren't talking about very much is that we're used to seeing King of the Hill in a different aspect ratio. We're not used to 1920 by 1080. And
that's
so
true.
the shots feel wide. In
Mm-hmm.
general, King of the Hill, uh, there were wide shots, but they were staged a little bit more closely than this. And so I think that's a thing. And
Mm-hmm.
also, because it's not done on paper, I think things in general are a little bit more vivid and clean. It just looks cleaner. And so it takes
Yeah.
people a little bit of getting used to. But one of the reasons, I think also one of the reasons why people call it an anime is because Bobby Hill grew up, but it's the same voice actress that plays him, which
Mm.
they do in anime. They're like, everyone's like, the time skip goes crazy, like,
I think it's just really this like just mundane everyday like I think also something that I really like about King of the Hill personally is that it's nice to have a show that's not set in New York or LA. It's
yeah,
nice to have a show that feels just kind of like
yeah,
something that anime does really well is that it unabashedly celebrates Japanese culture. And it's not even and they're not doing it for the grants and they're not doing it
yeah.
out of anything else but love of like their
Just
own
small,
culture, I
and
guess.
sometimes
Yeah.
small town culture, kind of like slightly more niche specific life experience stuff. And this is kind of like, it's
Yes.
like American suburban
Mm-hmm.
culture, like a little bit of white trash in some cases, like, I think that
Because for
yeah.
me, like growing up, I mean, no, I lied. I didn't grow up on Malcolm in the Middle. I just know Malcolm in the Middle was really, really big in
Dude,
France.
I loved Malcolm in the Middle,
Malcolm in
man.
the Middle is so good. I actually really watched the show. I only watched a couple episodes here and there when I was a child, but when I was in my 20s, I finally managed to like get it all on like streaming.
Hmm.
And Malcolm in the Middle is so good. And this is kind of like for me, this is kind of in that same range. It's a little the humor is different, obviously, because we're not with the kids. But it feels to me like King of the Hill is kind of like the more grown-up version of like Malcolm in the Middle in a way, and a little bit less cartoony, obviously. But it's the same vibe where it's like, oh, just
Yeah.
regular, you know, middle class American family in like the suburbs. So
Well,
I'm really
I
excited about that show
me
too.
too.
I
Me
want to
too.
watch it. I haven't watched it yet, but a
It
lot of people
feels
told.
it feels very similar in vibe. I feel like anything that Mike Judge takes like a direct part in. I don't think he's changed his sense of humor much.
Yeah.
I think it's
And
pretty consistent.
also, I will say, I mean, we've had the episodes with Benji Brooke and Sean Buckaloo, but Mike Judge also was part of Common Side Effects, and
Yep.
that's one of my favorite animated shows of all time. Obviously,
Hell yeah.
because I'm a big like Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul like fan. I
Me
love
too.
these
Me
kind of
too.
gritty shows, and Common Side Effects is that. It's like it's. I've always wanted to see a show, an animated show that was like Better Call Saul or like Breaking Bad animated,
Yeah.
and Common Side Effects is that. So definitely, if you're a fan of Mike Judge and like this more adult and like, and obviously, Common Side Effect is very like cinematic. It's super grounded in the realism
Yeah.
of the acting. It's so good. Definitely check that out. I think that's one of
Yeah.
the that's the one animated show when I was working at Green Street Pictures last summer that gave me so much like
FOMO.
hope.
Yeah,
Obviously
yeah,
FOMO, but
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. But
but
hope,
a
yeah,
lot of like hope and like excitement, and to be like, wow, these shows are still being made. They're still
yeah,
hard being made. People are still trying. It's happening. It's just so def I would say, I mean, I think they're renewed for a season 2. Yeah, they're
yeah.
renewed for season 2. So there is like we gotta end on hope, right? We gotta be like,
Yeah, hell yeah.
everything is not terrible. There's a lot of great stuff, and I'm excited to see that. I'm excited. I want to, like, maybe the next time, if you guys are excited about these episodes where it's just Sean and me, let us know in the comments. We want to know if you want to hear more of those. I love doing those. Like, I mean, I don't know how you feel, Sean, but I thought that was really fun. But I would love to.
I had a ton of fun, and I liked that it was more casual. And to be honest with our listeners, when we have to hold ourselves back from telling too many stories and getting too into the weeds about
Yeah,
ourselves and our own jokes or whatever, because we're interviewing these people and you guys want to hear their stories, but also we like just talking shop and shooting the
yeah.
shit. Obviously, we've been talking this whole time, and there's all this stuff to talk about, and I enjoy talking to V. So yeah, let us know what you guys think. If you want to see more of this, and I wanted to see if you would be down to give me a chance to uh I make a little jingle for the little news segment that we did.
Oh, that would be so cool.
Hold on, I'm gonna do it right now. It's like create key frames, frame by frame, squatch and stress, creative block news. This just in, something like that.
If you can add a guitar riff on it, we're like done. We're good.
Oh, okay. The key frame, frame by frame, go squash and stretch, creative block news. This just in. Something like that. Wait, we need a little intro thing for where's this episode called? Is it Creative Block Cafe?
I don't know. That's what I said. But we like listen, everybody, if you made it to this point of the episode, uh just brainstorm episode names with us.
Oh,
Cafe
we had a few. We had a few. What was it? It was shit. We had some names that we were playing around with. Hold on, let me see if I can find them.
Oh yeah, we had
Uh
unblocked.
Creative Blah or Creative
Blah.
Blah Blah. Yeah, so there's like creative block cafe, there's creative blah, there's creative blah blah, or creative blocked. Did you say creative blocked? Crit
Unblocked.
blah
There was like
unblocked.
okay, I found it. So we had uh okay, sidebar,
Oh, that's cool.
unblocked. Yeah. Oh, sidebar is kind of fun because it could be like we're at the bar, we're like getting
Yeah, creative
drinks.
block sidebar. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, creative blah, blockheads. Yeah,
Yeah,
blockchain,
yeah, yeah.
blockchain.
If we listen, if we want to make this completely AI conversation, blockchain, creative blockchain is good.
Uh,
Blockheads with a
yeah,
Z.
with a Z.
Anyway,
I
guys, in the comments, let us know what your favorite is. And just as a little sample, just in case we do Creative Block Cafe, I'll do like
oh, the like
yeah,
lo-fi
yeah,
jazz
yeah.
version.
How about can I start off with like a little lo-fi jazz thing, and can you over that, can you just say like, hi, uh what would you like to order? Like you're the barista. Okay,
Okay.
so you ask me, and then I'll um uh, okay.
Hi, what would you like to order today?
Actually, I already have my coffee. I've been sitting here for 5 hours drawing, and other people need this seat. We're doing Creative Block Cafe.
Wow.
That's a pretty good
That's pretty
intro.
good.
That's a pretty good
That's
intro.
pretty good.
Okay. Well, I feel like, yeah. You want
I
to end
think
it on that?
yeah, let's end it. Well, let's just
A
gonna
little
do our
call to
like
the Patreon.
yeah, everybody, if thank you so much for listening to our podcast for like all these years. Like it might feel like sometimes we're putting a little bit of like a bottle at the sea when we release these episodes, but anytime that I see you guys at like a convention or when we like get messages from you that you're like listening to a podcast, it means so much to us and it keeps us going. And another way that you if you want to show support in different ways, you can also comment, like, subscribe, recommend the podcast to your friends, especially if you're an animation student. Recommend the podcast to all of the other students in your class. That goes a long way for us. And if you're feeling super generous, consider becoming a patron. Even just $1 goes a long way. You can get access to our Discord community, and also access to our we're locking paywalling a little bit of the interviews, just because that makes the interviews a little bit more bite-sized and better for the algorithm, and also so like the patrons get a little extra. um and I think, and we're finally starting our little show and tell. So if you want to kind of participate in our community of like other creatives, and you have like other projects, or stuff that you're excited to talk about,
You
we're
can
starting
make
to
me
host.
watch. You can make
Yes.
me watch your stuff. And I'll
We're
sit with my
starting to
arms
host it.
crossed and I'm like, I have places to be. And you're like, shut up. I subscribe. I add to the Patreon. You have to watch my stuff. And I go,
Yeah.
I'll go, fine.
So there you have it. There you have it. If you want Sean to grumble at your show and tell. No, but thank you all so much for sticking around, being our listeners. We're really excited to put these new segments out, and let us know in the comments how you like these, how you like this setup, and we'll catch you in the next episode.
I'll see you guys later. I'm Sean Glaze, aka Lord Spew, and I've been talking with
V. It's just
and
V.
and we'll see you next time. Keep drawing, keep being creative, and do me a favor and just like be unpredictable and freak out a little bit and wreck something this week. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just joking. All right, everybody have
All
a
right.
peaceful week. Bye.
Bye.